Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Welcome, my name is Aiden. I'm so happy that you're here. Today, it's a big auspicious day. This is the last of my chopping block 4 for 4s. It's almost been 2 years ago, went through all of my palettes, pulled out everything that I felt meh about, that I didn't get excited to look at, and I decided to wear each one of those palettes for one day, and that was kind of an automatic yes or no. If they were no, automatically they were put aside. And then the ones that I did like, they went into a 4 for 4, and I've been working through those 4 for 4s on and off for quite a while because, I want to try out different things. I don't want to be using just palettes that I'm not sure about continuously because that wouldn't be very much fun. So I have 5 palettes left in this. Yes, it's 4 for 4, but we're sneaking in an extra palette because I just had one more left over. The palettes that I have left are Kat Von D, it's KVD now, and this is the shade in light in Plum. I have this one from Lancome. It is the Paris En Rose 2016 Sparkling Plums. I have Too Faced Cat Eyes. This Charlotte Ronson, and I think this was a Sephora exclusive, and it is an Angela. And then I have a Rainforest of the Sea from Tarte. This is the volume 3. If you are interested in any of the other 4 for 4s that I've done or any of the chopping blocks, I will have a playlist listed up above so that you can click on that and see. I've done lots of these over the past few years, and it's kind of a way for me to try out my palettes, to decide what I like, what I don't like, if I'm going to declutter, and actually get some use out of them. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Why is subscribing such a hard word to say? Don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know if you've tried any of these palettes, if you would keep them or declutter them. Let me know your thoughts down below. And then don't forget to like this if you enjoyed it. We're going to start with Charlotte Ronson. This is only 4 shades. I had 2 of these. I don't remember where the other one ended up, but this is definitely, you can see why this was not one that I would automatically reach for. You have a dark kind of plum, and then some very cool tone shades, and I'm not usually a cool toned fan. All right, so that is what they look like swatched. The lightest 2 shades I really like. They have a pretty sheen to them. They're very nice in that regard, and they look nice. I've used them both as a crease and on the lid, and the only one that I'm not crazy about is that darker one, because I don't do a lot of darker shades. Like today, I'm not sure if I like this look, but we were trying out a palette to see what we think about it. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this. I think the formula is really nice. They're very soft shadows. They blended in well. The mattes are a little bit more patchy, a little harder to work with than the 2 shimmers, but they still work nice. This is what I think Tati calls a sequin shade. So there's it's a matte shade, but it has glitter flakes in it. But as you can tell, it looks pretty matte on my skin. So yeah, I do like this one, and it was a good one. I don't know how long ago I got this because it's been quite a while. Charlotte Ronson is a designer, and that's why I wanted it. It was because she was a designer. I was pleasantly surprised with this. This is not my normal type of shade, not something I would normally reach for, but I think it was pretty good. All right, next up is the Kat Von D or KVD Shade and Light. I'm calling it Kat Von D because she was still in charge when this came out. This is the Shade and Light in Plum. I've gone through 2 of the other ones in this collection. I had Sage and Rust. I kept one and I decluttered one in case you want to check out up above. You can see which one I kept and which one I decluttered. There are 4 shades in here. You have a couple of medium shades, a very light one, and then a dark one. This is what they look like swatched. I really like this largest shade. It's really pretty. It doesn't look super pigmented here, but I found it was a really nice crease shade. I really enjoyed it there. I also liked this shade here, this 3rd shade, as a crease shade. And then the light one is pretty good for highlight up above. I did use it as an alt, on the lid, and it worked pretty well there too. I did like this palette. The dark purple is a little rougher than the other 3, but as you can see, it's super pigmented, and that was one swatch. It goes on really well. It's not patchy at all, like a lot of purples are from different companies. So so far I'm keeping both of the palettes, and I'm very surprised by that. This one worked really well with the next one that I want to talk about. That I had a lot of fun like mixing and matching with my Tarte Rainforest of the Sea. This one definitely needed something to work with it because it is mostly shimmers. There is one matte here. Yes, one matte right here. The rest are all shimmers. And these worked really well. Like this pink worked pretty well. I used like this light one here. I also used like this one, the ones that have more of a cool tone to them rather than slightly warm toned. But yeah, it looked really pretty with that. I would definitely layer it with something like this rather than just wear the mattes on their own. But yeah, this was a nice palette from Kat Von D, and I'm keeping it. Okay, so we have the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea. This is volume 3. I think there's another one that they did as well. This is definitely not really a standalone palette. I did use it one day. You have a very shimmery eye look if you use this all together. But I did use this one like in the outer corner, and then like this one as like crease, just to try to see if I could do it. I wasn't crazy about the look, but I could do something with it. But I would use this as a supplemental palette for an all matte palette, or something like if you had some singles that you wanted to do and you just wanted a pop of a shimmer, that's what I would use this one for. This has some absolutely beautiful shimmers. They are very glistening, as you can see. This is the matte. It's not the best matte. It's kind of a nice neutral shade. Like I would still use this, but it's not. This is definitely not a standalone palette, but the shimmers, like look at how pretty those shimmers are. They're just glistening there in the light. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. These went on really well. There is some fallout, I will say, with this palette. I put it on with my finger. I feel like that worked better, but you still had a little bit of fallout. Not like a ton, but I would keep like a big fluffy brush to brush away. And then I think, was it this one? There was one of them that I needed to like get my beauty blender and just kind of clean up a little bit underneath the eye, go over it with that beauty blender that I had used to apply my foundation. I'm actually going to keep this one. This is the only Rainforest of the Sea that I'm keeping, if I remember right, just because the colors in here are just really versatile. There's some really pretty ones, and you can use it for a lot of different things. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, really like those shimmer shades. I think they did a good job. I'm really surprised. Let's talk Lancome. This is one of the palettes that came in. They do like the purchase with purchase at the holidays. So I'm usually a sucker for those because I like the bag that they come in. They've had some really cool bags over the years. They always have like some good skincare in there that I'm always excited about getting because their skincare is so expensive. But this is what the palette looks like. It is definitely a cool tone palette, which is not my favorite. Like I said earlier, I'm more into warm tones. Those are what I feel most comfortable with. I don't usually wear a blue. This one has a little bit of blue on today, but I try to, tone it down as much as possible. So not normally my go-to type of palette, but let's swatch it. Here's what they look like swatched. You get kind of a mix of different shades in there and finishes. Some of them look a little bit more prominent in the viewfinder than I'm seeing them on my skin. They're pretty subtle, especially this top row here, which is your bottom row. They don't stand out too much. The bottom row, this row has some more pigment to it, some really pretty shades. I like that red in there, and this one right here has quite a bit of a punch to it. For Lancome, these are very soft, more subtle type of shadows. They are not nearly as pigmented, or I don't know. It's a very different formula than any of the other ones that I'm talking about today. I did like what I used with this though. I was really surprised because this was one that I was pretty anticipating that I was going to declutter right away. But I think I'm going to hang on to this and try to do a few more cool tone looks here and there. Maybe not use the blue a whole bunch or the black, like these two shades I could probably live without. But that dark purple is kind of interesting. It is not, doesn't have the same impact as the Kat Von D, but yeah, it's pretty nice. The blue is a little bit patchy as well, and it was a rougher formula, but I still think it was a pretty good palette, which I was surprised because I don't always love Lancome. We come to the last palette. This is from Too Faced. This is the Cat Eyes palette. At one point I was trying to collect all of these, and that's why I have so many of them. And this is not one that I probably would have normally purchased, but because it was Too Faced and I was trying to collect all of these and I found it at like TJ Maxx, that's why I got it. So you do get 9 shades in here. You have 3 giant shades and then usually 2 sets of per line of smaller shades. You can use them across, you can mix and match them. I did try to use one line at a time and kind of get a look that way. This bottom line I definitely needed to supplement a little bit because yeah, that's not a look for me, like a really dark, a black, a silver, and this purpley shade. It needed to be mixed a little bit. All right, that is what they all look like swatched. Some of them swatch much better than others. Some of them are much prettier than others. This one is going to give you a lot of fallout. This is a matte shade. It had the most fallout. It's very soft, but it's very flaky at the same time. This is a matte, this black, but it is really kind of a rougher matte. As is, these two are sequin shades, so they have that little bit of glitter in them, and they're okay. This purple that you see up at the top is not the most impactful. It doesn't have, but if you're somebody who doesn't like a lot of darkness, that might be a good shade for you. Where it's at for me is kind of these shimmer satin shades. So this silver I really like. I was editing a video and I was wearing this and I was like, oh, that was really pretty. I like this one. This is an interesting shade here. I like this purple shade. Even this one down here was very pretty. So I do like this one. I think it's kind of a mixed palette though, because some of it's good and some of it's just pretty meh. Nothing really exciting to write home about. Not a terrible palette, not a great palette. I feel like a lot of the Too Faced were like that, and it was just because of the packaging and the hype. Like they had some really good ones and then some that weren't nearly as good. So yeah, that's Cat Eyes for you. All right, how would you rank these palettes based on my reviews or based on your own experience? Let me know down below. Let us all know how you would rank them, or how you think I would rank them. That's always interesting too. Let me know how you think I'm going to rank them. Okay, I just wanted to give you a second. In 5th place is going to be the Too Faced Cat Eyes. Like I said, I don't think it's a bad palette. I'm not going to declutter this one. I'm going to give it some use, see if I can get some more use out of it. I like it. I don't love it. It's okay. There's some standouts in here, and then there's some ones that are just kind of lackluster. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Not my favorite Too Faced. Definitely not my favorite from this set. In 4th place, I am going to put the Lancome. I'm not going to declutter this one either. I'm surprised I'm not decluttering any of these. This is my final chopping block. Like, this is my final, like, get rid of some palettes. And I actually kind of ended up enjoying all of them and liking the looks. Like, they lasted throughout the day, all of these palettes, and they just looked pretty. And that's all I really wanted. So, yeah, I'm keeping this one. They look like today I'm not crazy about my look, but it was just something, trying a new palette. But I actually really liked these ones. So Lancome, 4th place, it's staying. 3rd place is going to be the Charlotte Ronson. This is another one. I was sure I was going to declutter this one, but after wearing it, and it's these 2 shades, that is why I'm keeping it. That's why it's ranking as high as it is, because they're just really pretty. They worked both as a crease or a lid shade, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, really surprised me on this one. Keeping the shade and light. Now, I do like purples. I like warm tones, which is why this one is staying over the green sage palette, which had gray in it. I don't know why I'm struggling to open it. But this one, I love those 2 medium tone shades. I can see myself actually reaching for this and using it. So it's staying. That is why it's in 2nd place. Which surprised me, because this is another one I thought I was going to declutter. It is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea, Volume 3. Not Tarte Too Faced. I could see them doing a collab though. Yeah, really like all of those shimmers. They're beautiful shimmers. They work so well. Not a complete palette by any means, but just a really solid palette. So yeah, it's staying too, and it's my number 1. If you see this one for a good price, I would recommend getting it, because it's kind of a fun palette, and just I feel like you would get a lot of use out of it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think I ranked them well? Would you have kept them? Would you have decluttered them? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.